Hi everybody, welcome back. So I'm going to do, this is probably the last of my videos for this week on the new release from Blue Knight Rubber Stamps. And this one is the Silhouette Panther stamp. And I had previously made a video to show you guys, however, it was a hot mess. So I'm going to attempt this again. And hopefully this one comes out a lot better. So what I originally did was I had stamped the image out with black ink onto regular Nina Solar white paper, and then I took these Spectrum Noir markers and I kind of colored in the background. Well, I like the idea, but it just looks, you know, the pattern didn't blend very well. So I thought, okay, let me try it again. So I did it again, and this time I used watercolor paper, and I like the way that it blended, but because I did the rough side, it didn't stamp very well, so I had to end up going in there with a marker and just filling in where it didn't stamp very well. So I'm going to do a little differently this time. So the first thing I'm doing is changing up the paper. This is Bristol Smooth paper, and I'm going to draw the scene first, and then I will go in and stamp it. So I am going to be using a couple of Zig markers here for the moon. So this is Zig Cool Gray and Zig Light Gray. I just want to swatch these out on a piece of paper here. Okay, so the Cool Gray is lighter than the Light Gray. So all I'm going to do here is just kind of sketch out a little circle where I think my moon should be. And the reason I'm using the zigs, I just want this watercolor look. So I do have a paper towel, a watercolor pen, and some paper or some water off to the side, you know, just to help with that. So here I'm just kind of randomly drawing in some shapes that I think would be part of the moon. Again, it doesn't need to be precise. A lot of this isn't even going to show up once we stamp the image over it. So that's my moon. So the next thing I want to do is I swatched out and picked out a couple of these blue. These are shimmer pens from Crafter's Companion, also known as Spectrum Noir, Sheena pens, shimmer pens, whatever you want to call them. I have a whole bunch of them, but these were the 4 colors I feel would blend the easiest. So I'm going to start with the lightest blue, and this one is called Moonstone, appropriately enough. And I'm just going to go around the moon. So this will be our first layer of color around the moon. And I want this to be kind of a wide band because we are going to go in with some water and kind of pull this out a little bit. And I like the shimmer in these pens because it makes it look like, you know, a sparkly, twinkly night sky. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now I have my water brush over here. So I'm really just going to try to smooth some of this out. I'm going to saturate just a little bit on the outside edge here because I don't want that line to be harsh. Again, I'm kind of going for this like faux watercolor look, even though we're using sparkle pens. So you can see that on Bristol paper, it's a lot easier to blend. There's a little bit of working time. Okay, the next color is Starry Sky. Again, appropriate enough. Let me just make sure that's not the darkest one here. Okay. It's tough to see which is darker. Okay, I think this one is darker. Or lighter. Hold on, I have to swatch them out again. I don't want to mix them up. And 2 of these blues are super close to each other. So this one is Starry Sky. I'm getting ink all over my fingers already. And this one is Denim. Oh, wait, we already know that's the darkest. That's not the one I wanted. This one. All right, so this one is darker. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take Starry Sky And same thing, gonna start to apply that. And yes, I know it's super dark. We're going to kind of water this down a little bit. So, not gonna completely saturate the color on here. Just kind of gonna draw these rings for now. And we'll play around with the water brush and see how much of that color we can pull out. All right, now I'm going to go kind of inward here into the lighter and just kind of soften up those edges again. Again, we're going for this kind of faux watercolor look, so we don't want any straight lines. We want all this to be blended out. We want it to look very sloppy, very watercolored. And I'm just taking the brush onto paper towel and dabbing some of that ink off. Just squeezing more water out of my water brush. You want to try not to oversaturate because this paper will pill. It's not watercolor paper, so we just want to be careful with that. Okay. The next color I'm going to go in with is called Iced Denim. Same thing, just kind of lay some of that color down. This is like a navy. And I'm going to start at the line here and blend these two colors together. And I'm squeezing on the watercolor brush and adding more water where I need it to blend more. The water is going to help reactivate those colors. I'm really liking this better, way better so far than the first two that I did. Okay, and then the last color we're going to put down is called Night Sky, which is a really deep, dark navy. And you can see here it's almost like black. I'm just going to blend that into the previous color. And I pick these pens up off of HSN. I know you can get them, from Crafter's Companion. They sell them at the big box stores in like packs of 3. And I've just kind of picked up my collection over the years with them. I really like how this is looking. And I know you guys can't see, but there is a lot of shimmer coming off of here. So the panel is very shimmery. I am still wanting to blend this out a little bit. And anywhere you think the line is too harsh, just go back in with your water brush and soften that up. But I definitely think it looks like a cool watercolored background scene now. Okay. That's pretty much it for the background. That's the hardest part of making this card, is getting that background all colored out. And I'll show you guys here the gradient. And I know some of it's still wet, but there is a lot of sparkle in there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. I'm going to take the heat tool to it real quick and dry it. See if I can grab this lighter blue and push this back a little bit. I know, you guys are like, just leave it alone, Nance. All right, there's a little bit over here. I just want to touch up. Okay. All right. What do you think? Very watercolored looking. Now can you see the shimmer? Very much like a night sky, right? Okay, so I think we should add some stars. And the way that I always do it is to take some white, either ink refill or gel pen. We can do it a couple of ways. We can take a gel pen and just kind of dab some stars on there. You want to do that if your gel pen's cooperating, which mine right now is not. There we go. I mean, you get more placement with that. Okay, or the way I like to do it is the splatter method. So I have some opaque white, and if you have like white refill, if you have you know, any kind of white opaque pen or you know, refill will work. And I just normally I have a little cup of water here, and I have a thin brush with medium bristles on it. I have one that's a little stringier. That's okay. And on the end of my acrylic block, I'm just going to put a couple of drops of water. This is just regular clean water. And I'm going to very lightly dip into this Copic white cream gel, whatever you want to call it here. You should stir it up, but I'm just going to take a tiniest bit of it. That's it. You don't need a lot. Even if you have white acrylic paint, that'll work. You don't need to buy anything special. Okay, and then I'm just going to hold this over our sky and flick. And that's all I need right there. I don't want this to be a super galaxy scene. Oh, speaking of super galaxy scene, I do want to show you guys the galaxy card that I did. Okay, so again, just going to hit it with the heat tool just to dry the white off. Alright, that's pretty much dry. Alright, so now we want to stamp our image. This is a red rubber cling stamp, and it's a fairly large stamp, so I have my large Misty here, and in the corner I have one of those little Misty corners. It's just basically a corner ruler. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to put my paper in here because this is how I measured where I wanted my stamp to go. Because this is a large stamp, you can't put a magnet on the paper, and I wanted to make sure that that paper stayed in place. So I'm just going to take a little bit of temporary adhesive and put that just on the back just to hold it in place. Okay, because we're not going to be able to put magnets on this guy because it's a full scene here. All right, now we're going to use my favorite black ink, which is, if I can get it, VersaFine Clair in Nocturne Super Black Ink. Use whatever black ink you have. If you have the original VersaFine ink, use that. That'll work just fine. I'm going to ink up our image. I love silhouette stamps. I've told you guys this before. They make it so easy to do a background. I was thinking of doing like a sunset background or a twilight background. There's so many different things you can do with silhouette stamps and making the backgrounds look different. Okay. This is probably going to take 2 or 3 stamps just to get that full black coverage. That looks pretty darn cool. All right, I'm going to stamp it again, or ink it up again. Much better the third time around. If I knew how to edit videos, which I don't know how to do yet, guys, I would show you guys the bloopers on the first video I made. It was just a hot mess. But again, I like the concept, the idea of it. I just had to figure out a way to get it to work. All right, so my little ruler came out and the paper's moving. I think I need one more stamp here in the middle to really darken this up. And I hope my paper did not shift that much. We'll find out here in a second. We'll get this halo effect. Okay, and it didn't. Oh, that looks really cool. Okay, so there we have our silhouette Panther with our watercolored night sky. I do think it came out way better than the first 2 attempts I did. So here was the first attempt, too streaky with the lines. Second attempt on watercolor paper, not well enough with the stamping. So third time around, changed to Bristol paper, did the background, and was able to stamp it out beautifully. And I will link for you guys down below. The stamp is at Blue Night Rubber Stamps. And again, it's called Silhouette Panther. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to post it down below. I will link a video in the top corner of some of the other Blue Night Rubber Stamps I have displayed. And if you're not subscribed, I'll put a subscribe bubble down in the corner. Just hit that button and tap the bell to get notifications whenever I post new videos or go live. Thanks for watching, guys. And as always, keep on stamping. Goodbye.